Man,
All
I got
right.
chills.
How
I
you
got
doing, man?
chills.
You like it?
I was like, oh my God, man. We back.
We
It's been a
back.
long couple months.
Yes. Yes, it has
The
been.
sabbatical is done. The hiatus is over.
Yes. I am. Yes. Wow. Wait a minute. My wife just sent me pictures of a whole bunch of
It's a
Star
family
Wars
show.
pops and stuff like that. Oh my God. I'm going to get, why'd you send me this? Now I'm going to get in trouble at the end of this. Wow. Holy crap. They've got Star Wars. Oh, they got a Stormtrooper. I got to get one of those. Anyway, all right. Anyway, I saw some Iron Maiden stuff there too. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Yeah, we're at the fair, bro. Be there, the fair. Do you ever come out here to the fair yet? Since you're now a South Floridian?
I've not. I just got back from South Mexico yesterday, and I have not really left my apartment since. I've been in and out of sleep. Rerun, watching. I'm trying to actually get through The Sopranos this off season. I got to all the way to season 4 now. I'm on a run, so I've been, running through those.
Wow.
I'm technically not off vacation until
I think
tomorrow
I
or the
think
day
it
after,
starts.
anyway.
I think it starts to jump the shark a little bit in season 5. It's still a good show all the way through, but I would say starting of season 5 is where I think it starts to take like a little bit of a step down. Still good, but a step down.
That's
I'm
fair. It's a
like
long, it's a lot of seasons, man.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And not see The Wire was like awesome from beginning to end.
but The Wire told like
Huh?
different but interchangeable stories, or different but intertwined stories. Am I
But it
right?
stayed
Like it
strong.
wasn't the
But it
same.
stayed strong every year, bro. It
I
stayed
think
strong.
like I think it's harder to keep like one storyline going all the way through rather than
Point.
like an anthology like The Wire is, more or
Good
less.
point. Good point.
So like I have had that question though, because like I got through season 3 and I start thinking like, okay, like now what? Now is it just like a constant power struggle? Is that what the show is that what the mafia is? Like what do I want to even see? I don't know.
Oh, you
I
do,
don't
you do,
know.
you do, you do, you do. You'll be fine. You'll enjoy the rest.
But
But I think you tell me once you start watching season 5. Tell me if you think it loses a little bit of that. But you make a great point. Keeping the same storyline fresh is really difficult compared to. You're right, like The Wire, where it really changes it up, and it's not the same storyline all the time. You're right. That's a
yeah,
very good point. It's a
it's a
very good
little
point.
little, little tricky. But it took me like 5 years, maybe more, to get through episode 1. So once I got through episode 1, we were golden from there, man. We were
All
golden.
right. I like it. I like it. So Drew Rosenhaus was on today at Pat McAfee, and he mentioned that the Dolphins and the Packers were interested in Darren Waller. And dude, I'm thinking about this. I'm going, well, wait a minute. The boneheaded owners ended up costing this team a first and a third. And I'm wondering if they had that extra third, could have been Jalen Ramsey and Darren Waller this offseason. And would Darren Waller be here instead of the New York Giants instead? When I heard that story, your thoughts on that?
That's one of those. That's one of those where if they want to do right by the player, like how the Rams did right by Jalen Ramsey and sent him where he wanted to go, I would only imagine Darren Waller is trying to go to Miami and not New York. Playoff team, no state taxes, better offense, better quarterback. I mean, what more do you want? What more do you want?
AFC. Oh, AFC, dude.
AFC is gonna be
Traded them
tough,
to the NFC. Damn it,
but
bro. That's what
but
happened.
that was the thing. But that's what I was getting at next. If they're not doing right by him, if I am the Raiders, I don't want to see you at all until maybe the Super Bowl. And then at that point, hey, look where we are. Who would have thought, right? Not who would have thought. So I
And
don't.
don't the Dolphins play the West?
They
They play Kansas City. Do they
they
play? Do they
do
play the
play.
Raiders?
They do. They play the
Oh,
Raiders at home.
shit.
They're at Kansas City. They're at the Chargers. They have Denver and Vegas at home. I remember because I was disappointed. Denver is one of the few cities now, dwindling list of cities, that I have not been to in the US, and one of the stadiums I haven't been to. I was hoping that trip was going to be on the road. I was supposed to go in 2020. COVID hit. Nobody traveled. But yeah, they do play. They do play the West, so they would have to see him. But I don't know if we have to play you. We're playing you. Uh, I don't know how much of a motivating factor it was in trading him, but again, they didn't have that third round pick this year, so it was irrelevant. But if I understand this correctly, Rosenhaus was saying this was last year.
Yes, right, during the season.
Last year.
Yeah,
So
it was probably leading up to the trading deadline. Is probably what it was. And the other thing I'm thinking of Marcel is that the Raiders had just signed him to that $51 million deal. So the cap hit that same season would have been just absolutely brutal. Now that you turn the season over and you're going into the second year of the deal, then maybe now they can break up the cap hit a little bit more. And that's probably why it was more accommodating for them. And who knows, Marcel, they were probably asking for a first or second rounder during the season last year, and now they ended up settling for a third in the offseason.
Exactly, because after the season that Darren Waller just had, great player when he's healthy.
Right.
But when is he healthy? We just spent all of the past year talking about availability this, availability that when it came to Tua. You think those conversations are going to go away with Darren Waller? He's one of the most injury-riddled stars of the game that the NFL has to offer. I love the guy as a talent, overall talent.
Hell of a player.
Hell of a player. Good God, this offense with Waller, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Everybody.
But it's like I was telling Andy Behrens, Evan Ingram had the same issues with the Giants. He was always injured. He just couldn't figure his body out. And then the Giants didn't want to give him that second contract. So he goes to the Jags. He figures his body out. He stays on the field. And everybody knew Evan Ingram was super talented. You knew he can run like a deer. And finally, he stayed on the field. And if he stays on the field, he's going to put up numbers. And sure enough, he put up numbers. And I think Darren's like that too. I think, certain guys, Marcel, you've been in the league now for a while. Some of these guys, they come into this league and they don't realize the demands and their bodies can't hold up. And it's not necessarily because their body is soft or, like most of us would break down. But it's because they are not dieting right, they're not exercising properly, they're not preparing themselves properly. And then once they figure their bodies out, some of them, not everybody, of course, but some guys, once they figure their bodies out, they're able to stay on the field, for a longer period of time. And I think that's what happened to Evan. And maybe that's what Darren Waller is too, a guy that needs to figure out, how can I stay on the field? What do I need to drink and eat and exercise and stretch and whatever it is that I've got to do in order to figure my body out?
It's probably not an awesome sign then for Darren Waller that he's going to the team that Evan Ingram couldn't stay healthy with playing for. I don't know, maybe something to watch there, maybe not. But I think that would have been, if they could have, like you said, it was a good point. We don't know what the asking price was there. Right. Matter of fact, Rosenhaus kind of sounded like he accidentally let the cat out the bag there right after he said it. He was like, "Oh shit, I didn't expect people to really catch on to that. I was just trying to sprinkle that in there."
Pushed it. He pushed it out.
It's good journalism.
Who wanted him? Who wanted him? That was good.
That's good journalism. That's good journalism right there. But it is just it is curious. That would have been a lot of money the Dolphins would have been allocating if this was in the middle of the last season. A lot of money allocated to positions where you don't want to see that much allocated to, like the cornerback room, for example. Xavier Howard and Jalen Ramsey, if they play to their potential, I don't think you're batting any eyes about how much money is tied into the cornerbacks room. But last year with Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, that was like $30 million, give or take.
Right.
To a cornerback room that did not carry the defense like it was supposed to. And then they were going to pay however much, at least 10 with Mike Gesicki, another 2 with Durham Smythe, and then whatever they owed Darren Waller. That's a lot of unconventional money tied to these positions.
Dude, I wonder if they were sending Gesicki in return to kind of offset salary a little bit, since they were able to cut him at the end because it was just a 1-year deal with Gesicki.
Oh, he would have. I think Gesicki would be incredible in Vegas. I think he would have been incredible with that team. He's a lot more durable than Darren Waller, and he's a poor man's Darren Waller in essence. Like yes. I don't think he's not a 1,200-yard receiver like Darren Waller can be, but I mean prior to this year, I think back-to-back years of 700 yards and 50+ receptions. The guy is a good tight end. Just like in New England, if now that they have an offensive coordinator that knows, hey, the ball goes forward and we're supposed to get into the end zone, okay, we're not just wasting time while our defense rests. We're actually trying to score. I think Gesicki is going to have a solid year with the New England Patriots. But that would have been an interesting. It would have been an interesting trade. That would have been Vegas admitting we overpaid for a fragile tight end. We want to get rid of it. We regret this contract. Give us Gesicki on that $10 million franchise tag. We'll probably re-sign him in the offseason for something low, something light, like he got with New England. That'd be interesting. That is something I wonder if Greer or McDaniel will even want to comment on, because of the whole. This is a guy who's technically a member of another football team, and I don't think they can actually confirm. I don't think they can confirm that. I don't know if that's considered tampering at all. And McDaniel, as we heard at the combine, doesn't want to even tiptoe that line of breaking the rules, especially after they just were stripped of a couple draft picks last August. So I don't think that's something that we're going to get in any official capacity there. But I do think that this proves they're in the market for tight end. I know we just saw them extend Durham Smythe a couple days ago. We saw them sign Eric Saubert last month. Well, you thought that's not it. There's more.
Yeah.
There's more coming.
No, they what they did was round out the number 2, number 3 guy, and I would imagine the project is number 4 from last year. So I would imagine that kid is going to be there, and then they need to search for their number 1. So if it's not a free agent, then it's going to be a draft pick, and I think that 2nd or 3rd round pick is either going to be a tackle or a tight end. Either or. I think it can go both ways.
Yeah, we'll see. Got to watch maybe in like the 3rd round, give or take, is the Schumacher kid from Michigan. Not in that consensus like top 5 group per se. He might be just on the outside looking in. He's somebody that they're going to kind of have to develop here. I don't know if he's just rip him off the package and he's ready to go. Tight end, of course, is probably the hardest position to transition from college to the NFL out of anything on the field. But he's a guy you can get in round 3. He's a guy who's got the athletic chops to succeed in this offense. Kind of a late bloomer statistically, but we saw him more and more involved with that Michigan passing game last year. A Michigan passing game where, shoot, man, if you put up 400 yards in that offense, it might as well be 1,300. Like, that is a run first. That's a struggle offense. I sat there in the big house in, what was that, November or October, when the Dolphins were up in Detroit. And I watched that team play, man. That is not a good passing offense. Don't let that bowl game fool you, that playoff game fool you. They can't throw the ball like that. So I think you got to take his numbers with a grain of salt. But he'd be an interesting addition. And I know, the kid from Washington, the kid from Georgia is like the enigmatic tight end of this class right now. Will he be there at 51? Will he not? Is he going in the 1st round? Is he worth the pick? I think, if he's there, let's say at 48, maybe move up a couple spots. I think he's a dynamic blocker. I think he's we're not allowed to say F-word athlete, but he is a unique athlete. I think that's somebody who they could definitely mold. They don't need him to be productive right away. I think that is worth trading up for. Matter of fact, like I'm on team trade up, period, for either Washington or if Jahmyr Gibbs is there within a few spots of you. Because you're not picking, that's a long wait from 88 to, 161, 166. Somebody, I'm sure, who can type it up, on the spot can correct me here if I'm wrong, but that's a long wait from round 3 to round 6. You might as well just trade up for your guy. Make it easy on everybody. Trade up for your guy, and let's keep it pushing, man. Let's move on from the draft. I love an easy draft weekend. This roster's set. You don't need this draft.
I gotta say, Tyreek Hill's got some good vision, because he was on a podcast, and I don't think this is news what he said, but I love his vision. And he says that he's going to play out the next 3 years of his contract with the Dolphins and retire, and that he wants to go into the business of gaming. And I love his vision, because I invest in a lot of companies in crypto that are part of gaming. And I think it's going to be in this next bull run here, it's coming. I think the gaming companies are going to absolutely explode on Web3 and the metaverse and all that kind of stuff. So I think he's really smart on his part. But it ain't news, right? 3 years, that's probably when you probably want to get off that gravy train. And you're also looking at maybe that's your window too now to try to get that championship.
Oh, we know that the window is short right now. We know the window is short. Tua's still on a rookie contract. I think they've got like 6 players signed for 2025 or something like that. Like it's a ticking time bomb. This is Rams-esque right now. You need to win your damn Super Bowl. That is why value out the window with this draft and the next draft. You get guys that can contribute right now. That's why I'm saying to trade up for a guy like Gibbs, not Washington. Trade up for a guy like Gibbs who can come and be a contributor on a championship team right now. Because you're gonna say F them picks in about 2-3 years, or you're gonna need them picks in about 2-3 years. So F them for now. Your salary cap is tied up. And good point there with Tyreek. In 3 years, he'll be what, 32,
Yeah.
33?
Yeah.
He looked very slow last year, so I don't know about any impending slowdown. He looked pretty damn fast to me last season. He's probably going to look pretty damn fast in 2023. But I don't think you're going to sign him. You're not signing him to no $120 million contract in 3 years. But money talks. So he might say he's going to retire now. But if somebody dangles $100 million in front of him, $90 million, $80 million, $75 even for a 33-year-old receiver who relies on speed, I think his mind can be swayed. So I wouldn't put a whole lot of stock into it right now. But good God, you better attack that window while it's open. But luckily for the Dolphins, I think their window is about as open as any team in the NFL. I think what the moves that they've made on defense this offseason, I think rival the moves they made on offense last season. I think we should be as excited about what they've done on defense here. Not just because of Jalen Ramsey. I think Jalen Ramsey is the second biggest addition.
Oh, yeah.
Vic Fangio, the one we haven't been able to talk about this much. That's, I think,
and a healthy X.
And a healthy X.
Because X wasn't healthy, bro. You're gonna get a healthy and motivated X next year because he knows that he's gonna either get cut or he's going to have to ask for, stick around for another year here on the current deal. So he needs to play really well next year, not just for the Dolphins to stick around or to sell himself to another team next year if he does get cut. So plus having Jalen around is going to motivate him to play at a high level because he's got another dog opposite of him. I think you're going to get Fangio, you're going to get Jalen Ramsey, and you're going to get X because you didn't get the real X last year. So those 3 additions alone should change the face of everything on defense.
And it's one of those, you don't have to send a hobbled X at Stephon Diggs right now. You don't have to. And then ideally, you get Javon Holland playing a more natural kind of center fielder type safety role, Micah Hyde-ish role. You get Kohu, you get Needham back at the slot. That's a way healthier rotation. You get Brandon Jones back. There was no replacement for him last season, and as much as he might have struggled in the past in pass coverage, he is one of the most.
He was getting better last
year. He was getting better until he got hurt. That's what I'm saying. Like as much as that's been a part of his game that he needs to improve in the past, he is one of the NFL's best in terms of rushing the passer from the defensive back position. He is the reason why Josh Boyer was able. He was a big reason, I should say, why Josh Boyer was able to do a lot of what he did. God forbid, or God willing, we don't see any more 3rd and 15 cover zeros anymore. I wouldn't mind never seeing cover zero again, to be honest. I think it's a cheap call. It should be a blue moon thing. I hope to God we don't see it as often, and I can't imagine we would under Vic Fangio.
You won't see it with this guy. He doesn't play that kind of defense.
No, I think I'm excited for OTAs to just start to see like the bones, the skeleton of this new coverage that he said he's come up with. During his time. That should be a scary thing for the league, man. That arguably its best defensive coordinator took a year off and feels like he's learned more. Like feels like, I think I've gotten better. I've got some new tricks in my bag. I got some things I'm about to unleash on the league. I think that the Dolphins are maybe the sleeping giant of the NFL, which is hard to say for a team that, did just make it to the playoffs and did just finish, I think, the number 3 offense in the NFL. But I think their window is opening. I think the team up north's window is starting to close a little bit. You look at what the Bills have done in the draft and in free agency over the past couple of years. They've taken care of their own, but it's not often that they re-sign a guy and then keep him for more than a year. That guy's usually gone after a year or two after. The drafts aren't looking great. Not good receiving core after Stephon Diggs. Not sure what they're doing in the run game, although I do like Damian Harris, the Damian Harris signing. Defense should still be salty with Poyer's return and all that, but I really think that Miami Bills are going to be probably open the season as the favorite just because of the name recognition, because of Josh Allen. But if I'm a betting man, I'm putting money on Miami to win the AFC East.
There you go. Follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ. Love that prediction. And, of course, catch him twice a week here doing his thing with the Welt and Rheaume Miami Dolphins report. Good to have you back, my brother. We'll catch up on Friday. You enjoy the next couple of days, my friend. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Good to be back. Good
to have you back. Great to have you back. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate you. There you go. Marcel Louis-Jacques, baby. And he's got the Dolphins winning the division. Gotta love that. I see they're all coming to my side of the thinking now. See? Told you, Dolphins going to take this division. Told you better look forward to this offseason. Everything going on. This is going to be a great season. All right, let's wrap it up here with Welt and Rheaume, the finest law firm in South Florida, baby. Welt and Rheaume, 954-966-4646. Bankruptcy, homeowner property damage like what we had. Call Welt and Rheaume, man. Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. Even one of our listeners in Orlando came on down and hired the great people at Welt and Rheaume. So it doesn't matter where you are in Florida. You can just call them, pick up the phone. Call Jeff right now, Jeff Welt, 954-966-4646. You got condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. They can take care of you. They did it for us. They're already doing it for a couple of our listeners here in South Florida. Another one of our listeners in Orlando, folks. So please call them, 954-966-4646. If you have any of these issues, do not call the insurance company. Call Dan and Jeff first. They have their own adjusters. These adjusters work for you. They're there to protect you. The insurance company sends their adjusters, and guess what? They're working for the insurance company. They don't care about you, dude. They're not looking out for what's best for you. They're looking out for what's best for the insurance company so they can keep working for the insurance company. You're not paying them. Insurance company is. 954-966-4646. That's Welt and Rheaume.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.